long time ago, Jesus and Peter were both on top of the water, but they weren't swimming. Let's find out what happened. The disciples were in a boat together, sailing across the Sea of Galilee. They had spent the day with Jesus and had seen him do something amazing. He had taken 5 loaves and 2 fish and used it to feed more than 5,000 people. How they wished Jesus would let the people crown him king. But at the end of the day, Jesus had sent the people home, and to the disciples he said, "Go ahead, go across the lake in the boat." Then Jesus had gone to a quiet place to pray. Out on the lake, dark clouds began to gather. The wind whipped angry waves against the fishing boat. The experienced fishermen strained at the oars. They pulled harder and harder, but the storm was very strong. The storm continued raging through the night. The wind pushed the waves higher and higher. By now, the disciples were a considerable distance from the shore. Shortly before morning, but while it was still dark, Jesus saw them way out on the lake and decided to go to them. Suddenly, the disciples saw someone coming across the water toward them. They cried out in fear. "It's a ghost!" they shouted. It frightened them to see a person coming toward them walking over the waves as if they were on solid ground. "Don't be afraid," a familiar voice called. "It is I, Jesus." Then Peter called out, "If it's really you, Lord, tell me to come to you on the water." "Come." Jesus beckoned toward his eager and sometimes reckless disciple. Looking at Jesus, Peter climbed out of the boat and began walking along the top of the water. He took several steps. Then he turned his eyes away from Jesus and looked back at the disciples. He may have been thinking, "Hey, look at me. Can you believe it?" As he started to turn back toward Jesus, he saw the huge waves. He felt the strong winds. He became afraid and he started to sink. Instantly, Peter's courage was gone. "Lord," he shouted, "save me." Even as Peter began to sink, the strong arm of Jesus reached out to him. Jesus grasped hold of his outstretched hand and lifted him up. "You of little faith," Jesus said, "why did you doubt?" Jesus meant that Peter needed only to keep his eyes on him. Peter needed to keep believing that Jesus had the power to save him. Jesus put his arm around Peter, and they climbed into the boat. Once Jesus was in the boat, the wind calmed and the waves relaxed. And the little fishing boat sailed quietly to the other side of the lake. Today, Jesus says to us, "Just keep your eyes on me. I'm here to rescue you. You can't do it by yourself, but don't worry. I can save you. Just keep trusting me."
What kind of grace is all I Good morning and happy Sabbath, boys and girls. Today I want to share with you a little experiment about what it means to have faith and to trust. So if you remember the story in Matthew 14 about Peter when he was to walk on the water and it was stormy and he didn't have a whole lot of faith. But when Jesus called him, he began to walk on water. So I'm going to put some water in here. And when Peter stepped out of the boat, he was afraid. Have you ever been in a situation where you were afraid and you tried to do something on your own? Maybe you had a test that you didn't pray about and tried to do on your own and didn't study? Have you ever had maybe a scary situation and you didn't pray and you tried to solve your own problems? If you notice, when we try to solve our own problems, and that's what these paper clips represent today, are kind of some problems or situations that we try to solve on our own. And if you notice, all of those paper clips are falling straight to the bottom. Kind of like when we do things on our own, we don't always get them right. And like Peter, he was afraid, he didn't have faith. But when Jesus called to him and told him to get out of the boat, Peter, let's get a different color so you can see the difference. When Jesus called for Peter to get out of the boat, Peter had help. He had help from Jesus. And with the help of Jesus, Peter was able to walk on water. And the same goes for you, boys and girls. As long as you keep your eyes on Jesus and you trust in him and have faith in him, the things that seem impossible, you will be able to do. But if you take your eye off Jesus, things happen. And did you notice? The red paper clip sunk to the bottom. So it just takes a little bit of losing faith to make things difficult. And if you don't have trust in Jesus, it makes things difficult. So be the boys and girls that have faith and that have trust. And when you have faith and trust in Jesus, things are a lot easier. We're going to say a quick prayer, and then I hope you enjoy the rest of your Sabbath. Dear Jesus, thank you so much for being a God that hears us when we call. Even if it's something small, you hear us. Or if it's something big, you are there with us. Please help us to remember that we need to have faith and we need to trust in the promises that you have given us, that you will never leave us nor forsake us, that you are there with us always. This is my prayer in your name. Amen.
Faith is just believing what God says he will do. He will never fail us, his promises are true. If we but receive him, his children we become. Faith is just believing this wondrous thing is done. Faith is just believing what God says he will do. He will never fail us, his promises are true. If we but receive him, his children we become. Faith is just believing this wondrous thing is done.
Me today. So we're going to use markers and crayons. You can pause the video and you can get your markers and crayons ready. So first, I'm going to use my blue. And what do you think we're going to draw first? Definitely the water. So with my blue marker, I'm going to draw my water. Remember how we did this? Drawing lines to show the movement of the water. Kind of like swirlies like that. And then we're gonna take our blue crayon and we're just gonna fill that in. So you might wanna pause the recording while you do yours. I might be moving a little bit faster than you. I can't take too long on my videos or they won't upload. So anytime you can pause the recording and you can finish your part of the picture if you can't keep up with me. There we go. Okay, the next step, what do you think we're gonna make now? We're gonna make the boat, right? And I'm gonna put my boat way on the side so I have room for Jesus over here. Right? Watch what I'm gonna do and make the lines on my boat. And then I'm gonna do like this. A line, a line, a line. And then the next row, I'm gonna put the line in the middle of where I didn't put it on the previous row. See what I'm doing there? I'm giving each empty space a line. And it looks like a boat. And then we can take our brown crayon. We can color it in. And then I'm gonna check in the book and see if the boat had a sail or anything on it. So let's look. Oh, it did have a sail. Yep. So I'm gonna draw a line going up for my sail. Now you can give your sail, make your sail whatever color you want. I'm just gonna do my sail like that, okay? There's lots of ways to do a sail. And sometimes sails have pictures or designs on them. I'm gonna give my sail the number 12. Why do you think I'm gonna give my sail the number 12? Because there were 12 disciples of Jesus, right? So then I'm also gonna make sure I draw some of the disciples in the boat. We'll put a couple. We'll see how many we can fit. I'm gonna make this one Peter because this will be before he walks on the water. Wow, he's looking, wow, Jesus. We'll put another one here. Some of them had long hair. We'll put another one here. We'll put even somebody over here. They're really low in the boat. There we go. Okay. Then, what do we need to draw? Jesus, right? And he's walking on top of the water. So, you need to make him his body. Pause the recording if you need to. His feet are walking on the water. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Jesus had long hair. He had his beard, right? That's how we usually show Jesus. You can color the disciples' clothes. There's Peter reaching out. Jesus! And when Peter stepped out, remember, he could walk at first, but then he got scared. He got nervous. He doubted that God would save him. He lost faith that he would be okay. And that's when he started to sink. Was it nighttime during the story? Or was it daytime during the story? Oh, look it. It was nighttime. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the moon. And I'm going to leave it white. And I'm going to make my stars. Oops, I broke my crayon. I'm going to make my stars blue with a dark blue. This actually is called indigo. And that's going to show my night sky. Okay. You can pause the recording if you need to. And then I'm going to color just really gently with my black to show that it's the night. I'm not going to color the moon because the moon is white. There you have it. Right? Oh, I'm also going to use my peach. And I'm going to make sure I color the skin on their faces. Now, not everyone has that color skin, right? So you can also make some people with a little bit of a darker skin and lighter skin, right? So there's our story.
Hi, it's Auntie Toyin. Thanks for coming to AC Kids Time and having a good time with us. We hope you will come again. But before you go, remember the word of the day was faith. Some say seeing is believing, but faith says use what you can see to believe what you cannot see. We hope that you have learned more about faith today and you will take it with you everywhere you go. And also, make sure you draw your picture. And if you do draw your picture, take a picture of it and send it in to allonchapelsda@gmail.com. Remember, if you do, and you're one of the first top 3, you'll get a prize. We hope to see you again. See you next week. Bye.